When people talk about the fall of Rome, they usually mention barbarians, wars, or emperors killed by palace conspiracies. But empires usually don't collapse from the outside, they collapse from within. And one of the biggest reasons is money. That's exactly what happened to Rome. For centuries, the foundation of the Roman economy was the silver denarius coin. It was made of pure silver and everyone trusted it. Soldiers were paid with it, trade was done with it, and people saved their wealth in it. In short, the coin wasn't just money, it was trust in Rome itself. But as the empire grew, expenses grew too. Armies, wars, roads, aqueducts. When taxes were no longer enough, emperors chose the easy way. They started reducing the amount of silver in the coins. The coins looked the same, but their value was lower. Over time, the denarius became almost completely made of cheap metals. People noticed. Prices started rising. Wheat, that once cost 1 coin, later cost dozens. Soldiers demanded higher pay. Merchants refused to accept worthless coins, and people started returning to barter. As trust disappeared, the state printed more money, and the more money they printed, the more worthless it became. A perfect vicious cycle. By the 3rd century, everything became chaotic. Rebellions, plagues, civil wars, constantly changing emperors. But behind all that chaos, the real problem was a collapsed economy. The government tried to fix prices by force, but it didn't work. Black markets appeared and trade slowed down, because the real problem wasn't prices, it was the money itself. Eventually, Rome abandoned this coin and switched to gold coins, but by then the Western Roman Empire was already too weak. The economy had collapsed, trade had broken down, and feeding the army became difficult. Rome didn't fall in a single day. It collapsed slowly from the inside. The loss of money's value was one of the biggest reasons. This story actually doesn't belong only to Rome. The same thing has happened many times in history. In Germany in 1923, people carried their salaries in wheelbarrows because money was losing value constantly. In Zimbabwe, prices changed between morning and evening. When money loses value, the result is always the same. People with debt benefit, people with assets get richer, and people who live on salaries become poorer. Today, the system is not very different. Money is no longer tied to gold. It is tied to trust in governments and the system. As money supply increases, its value slowly decreases. Even without sudden crises, purchasing power erodes over time. The money looks the same, but inside, its value is shrinking. There are a few simple lessons from this story. Inflation is usually not an accident, but a result of policy. Real wealth is not just saving money. It is land, business, production, and skills. And most importantly, no economic system stays stable forever. People in Rome also believed their money would always have value, but it didn't. History shows us this. Countries are usually destroyed not by enemies outside, but by bad economics and worthless money. The barbarians at the gate only deliver the final blow. The real collapse begins in the treasury.